Hello my fellow viewers and subscribers, this is Superchocolatemilkshake, and I am going to talk about the redesign for the shake this year, since I do have a bit of an interesting story behind that. But first, I would like to say that I am going to miss this year's profile pic because of the background color palette. However, while it is its greatest strength, I would also admit it's its greatest weakness as well. I will admit that it's just a little bland, and there are some details that do seem to blend in too well. So I went back to the good old drawing board to concept something a little bit different. This reconcept, however, started sometime towards the end of August, and this is where the interesting story begins. Shortly after starting to stream on Twitch, I got contacted by an artist who wanted to help getting people in by changes with the banner art. They also said that they would also improve the character design. Against my better judgment, I decided to bite and see what they had in mind. I try to live life with an open mind, but I also don't want somebody messing up my mascot that I've drawn for well over 15 years at this point. And look, I do like seeing fan art, okay? Like, all the time. It helps encourage me, and it makes me do a lot better. But I am kind of worried about using it in any official capacity beyond, of course, showing it on my YouTube channel as a bit of a showcase. And, yes, I can showcase some of your art here on my channel too, and also there is a showcase for art on my Discord server as well, underneath the left art museum. So I ended up talking to this artist for a little bit, and I paid him $25 to get started. The first piece they submitted had my jaw dropped completely to the floor. I showed it to my mom, and even she said it looked nothing like a milkshake. It looked like a brown log with robotic arms, legs, a face carved and painted into the log, a cape that looked more like a scarf, and a pair of headphones on top of this horizontal timber. Heck, I was so appalled by this that I didn't even notice that the hands are off too. Coming back to look at it now, I'm noticing that the left hand has 3 fingers and a thumb, and the right only has 2 and a thumb. This was a sign of things to come. I respected the old adage of honesty is the best policy, and I told him I hated it straight up. Respectfully, of course. The second design they shared was better, but not by much. At least it didn't look like a log. At least, I would say it was still far from iconic, though. The base was replaced with a piece of cape, and the cape still looks segmented and flatter than what I even draw now. Even the whipped cream on top, it looked more like a frothy root beer float with a cherry on top. I got the lecture where I got my inspirations from for this original character. I took design from the classic milkshake glasses that you would get from an ice cream parlors or sit down and eat restaurants. I showed him the earliest form of the milkshake from 2009 to 2013, saying that these became the base staple of the current design. The response I got was, I had no references. And I did send him an image of the current shake himself, and I gave him an idea of what to draw. Apparently, I had mistaken this in expecting too much. Sure, it's not like Googling images of milkshake glasses is super easy. There were 2 more images that he shared, but I started to think that it would be better to cut my losses here. While the third was a step in the right direction, the 2 fingers on one hand and the 3 on the other thing returned. The cape still looked like a scarf, and it also looked like the glass was leaking. And the whipped cream and cherry on top looked more like a lid rather than milkshake toppings. If I had to say anything, while my whipped cream does not look anything like whipped cream, it still has that distinction provided with the cherry. This is why my cherry has a stem, because it would be harder to believe to be so without it. And as for the slight shake leak, I think it's just bad to have a main mascot to be injured right away, right off the bat, and for no real reason. Now, the last one was cute, but I think we were all aware that isn't what I'm fully going for here on this channel. He corrected the cherry and the whipped cream, and the chocolate swirls were a nice touch. However, it looks like he decided to give up with the cape and switch it out for a hat. Yeah, my description says that I'm a 5 foot tall talking milkshake with arms and a hat. Last, I would like to talk about the piece of cheese and the straw sticking out of the top. First, I would like to talk about the straw, since I did have plans to include that one at one point, but I came to the conclusion that it would ruin the core silhouette and make it harder to draw. That, and I don't think anybody likes the idea of drinking a sentient shake. I have no idea what possessed him to add the cheese, though. You got me there, since I don't know anybody who has cheese with their milkshakes. However, I did notice the cheese clipping into the hat, so I got a bit suspicious about this artist and his use of AI. Just so you know, I will not fully stake the claim that he was using AI, but I also will let you know I do not endorse the use of any AI. Well, okay, sort of. There is some limits, but I'll talk about that later. Even if it makes something easier, it kind of takes the magic and charm away from, well, anything really. There is the fact that it just doesn't feel like there's much heart and soul put into it compared to something made by hand. So this is where I told them that it wasn't worth the $300 that they wanted to charge me for it, but I did tell them to keep the $25 I already paid them. They wanted to go on, but I think they got the message after October rolled around and I didn't respond to anything that they had to say. While I do think I could have been a better client, I think this person would understand why I was so hesitant that I worked with this character for years. I probably would have overwhelmed this person if I had given him all the source files I had. Well, it's water underneath the bridge now. When it comes down to it, I did learn a lesson for all this, and I did start trying to take a little bit more time with my art. While it's still not perfect, I do feel like I've gotten better, and I will take some more time to keep doing it. The drawing right here, I made it at least 6 or 7 times already. The work where I had Avalon staring down Cadroy, that took weeks to finish. Heck, this script was drafted at least 2 to 3 times, as for a matter of fact. So, I hope I keep this trend going on headed into the new year, and I'll do my best to watch my scope and plan out accordingly this year. So, Happy New Year, and I hope to see you all in the next year. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe if you like this video, and this is Super Chocolate Milkshake, signing off.